All right, all right. We are back. I am off of work. Oh man, these days are long. 10-hour days are long. Seems inhumane, but we made it through it. Yeah, it's about 3:30 or 3:35 Central Standard Time. And we made it through Hump Day, which is Wednesday. I believe today is day 73 of manifestation. And it is hot. It is, well, it's 80 degrees today. Feels much hotter than that though. It's been 90s the last few or a couple days. So it's definitely above average temperature here in the Midwest. And I am hearing lots of news about extreme weather and extreme weather patterns all over the country. And people are speculating, obviously, HARP machines and obviously global warming is I'm sure a conversation some are having. Some are, questioning the eclipse and its effect on the sun. Some are saying that this isn't even the sun. And this is the this is the age we live in right now, where hardly anyone is certain of anything. I often consider that, you know, it would seem that we would know more, being that we are in the age of information technology and what have you. You would think we would know more, but isn't that funny how, or ironic, how the more access we have to information, the more confused we are, uncertain we are. Isn't that what a dichotomy? I believe that's a dichotomy. So, anyways, yeah, interesting times to say the least. I say to say. I'm Wisconsin. To say instead of to say the least. To say the least. Anyhow, I digress. So yeah, I definitely want to remind you to go over to the MANDEMIC Facebook group page. We are really promoting this page, addressing and dealing with uh, all things family law, including but not limited to child support, child protective services, um, even maintenance payments post divorce. We want to address all of those issues. It is our contention. It is our, I don't want to say belief, but it is based on our knowledge. There is a bit of inequity in these systems and in the agencies that run these operations. And, things are heavily skewed against men. We contend, negligently and, again, inequitably. And so we want to address those issues. I mean, I can't tell you how many years growing up, uh, I heard about all kinds of horror stories of um, men losing their children, men losing their jobs, being put in prison, you know, uh, being convicted of felonies, losing their license, having their taxes intercepted. I mean, all my life I've heard this stuff, you know, And until it was my turn, you know, it really didn't hit home, right? I saw my older cousins deal with it, and I'm like, oh, they must be terrible. You know, they must be awful men, and there's a reason why the system is coming down hard on them, because they probably deserve it, and oh yeah, they like to drink beer too. So, we just, you know, formulate those beliefs. And I think that in my opinion is the big problem, is that the community is not aware, and is ignorant of just how damaging these statutes, these codes, these ordinances, that are involved in the family law. The community doesn't know the full extent of the damage that is caused to an individual, to an individual's current family, to an individual's reputation, and certainly to an individual's economy. I mean, the system literally makes you regret that you even had children. Now, what could possibly make a father, regret that they have children? Consider that. Consider the fact, first off, that men typically are very territorial and very protective, darn right overprotective of their children. What kind of beast system, would actually cause a man to say, man, I wish I would have never had my child or my children? That's got to be something of a different order. That's not normal. Do you think it is normal for a human being? I mean, it's not even normal for an animal. Pick any type of animal that you will. Not even animals would be easily parted from their children, their litter, or whatever you want to call it. But when it comes to the system as it stands, we have thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of men that are pretty much ready to throw in the towel on their own children because they cannot stand to be oppressed and subjected to the current system. And I got to be honest with you, these thoughts have come into my own head, to be 100% transparent with you. Okay? Because these last 2 years that my daughter, my eldest, my firstborn daughter, was removed from her home state, my state, and taken thousands of miles away from me. Okay? After she has been in my life her whole entire life. I witnessed and watched her birthed and brought forth and struggled through all of the learning curves involved in bringing her to the ripe age of 13, or at that time around 10 or 11, because I missed the last 2 years. Okay. But even in that, the situation had gotten so hopeless, you know, from not being able to have any physical contact. So at times, I haven't even heard her voice in 2 years. Maybe a text message every great once in a while. The mental struggle and the psychotic, processes and thoughts that would come across my mind. Do I drive there and stand on my rights as the father who has, by all legal standards, joint custody? And get this, everyone out there, you ladies that are, somewhat understandably picking sides. Obviously, it's biased. You're going to stand with the women. I get it. But listen to this. Listen to this. I showed up to the child support hearing, and her mother did not, to fight for my rights, to question the courts and let them know that this injustice has taken place. And why am I still on child support? Why are you still taking finances from me and my current family when I don't even get an opportunity to see my daughter, let alone speak to my daughter? I don't know if my daughter's dead or alive for 2 years. Can any of y'all get with that? If somebody came and took your child today and kept them for 2 years away from you, but you're still going to be expected to drop the same money, work hard, make ends meet, still take care of your current family, but you're leaking out all this money and you don't know where it's going. You don't know if it's going to your daughter or to her mother's new family or something. I don't even know if my daughter is alive for 2 years. But get this. Do you think that when the child support agency knew that they knew even before I knew? Do you think that they gave me the common consideration and decency to notify me as the father who has a court-ordered joint custody? Do you think that they let me know? No, they did not. They did not tell me. I was not tipped off. They didn't send police after her. They did not arrest her. They didn't do anything. Now, how is that equitable? Now, how is that righteous? How can that be legal? You see? And this is why I am so passionate about it. Now, I will tell you that after that hearing, after going to tears in front of these two women, and that's another thing I want to bring up to you. The judge was a woman, the state was a woman. Okay? That's another thing hopefully I remember to come back to. We're going to end up here shortly. But I cried. I pleaded with them. I said, this is not right. Blase, blase. They did not threaten to go after her. They did not threaten to do anything to her. In fact, she got away scot-free with taking my daughter. No penalty, no nothing. Nothing. What do you think would have happened if I had gone to my daughter's school? Let's say they were still here in the state, right? Let me ask you a question. I got joint custody. I got a legal order, a court order. What do you think would have happened to me if I had gone and picked up my daughter from school and took her as the legal father and then disappeared with her for 2 years? I'll give you a few seconds here to tell me what you think that situation would have returned that wasn't, or would have caused, or what would have happened or taken place in contrast to what took place that her mother took her, when her mother took her out of the state. Does that seem right to you? And this is the type of thing that, Mandemic is here to address and to deal with, because enough is enough. And my story is not exclusive. I am not the only one. And there are people with way worse scenarios than the one I just shared with you. Way worse. Oh, I hear about it. Way worse. Way worse. And so with that being said, ladies, I'm asking that you put your pride to the side for just a little bit here. And let's bring some levity to the situation. Let's bring some equity, I should say, to this situation. It is the system that is broken. We're not saying that it's your fault and it's this, and we're not looking to point blame at individuals and humans and all that kind of stuff. The system is what is broken. And you yourself suffer things at the hand of the system that you feel are also broken, right? There are things that you say are unjust. Okay? The only way that is fixed is through in the United States is through going through what is called the political process, the democratic process, the political process. One of those rights includes the right to protest, to be heard, the freedom of speech and what have you. And so we are using those rights, those legally protected rights, okay, and we are coming forward under the umbrella of Mandemic so that we can have one identity and act as one. The power of corporations is the many can act as one blunt object, stronger together, unity. And so we've chosen Mandemic. This has to stop, y'all. Men have feelings. I know you're not taught to believe that. All men are dogs. But men have feelings too. And when we are able to convey as much, when we are able to let some of the steam out of our being, when we are able to, as the Whitney Houston movie, exhale finally and be vulnerable again, right? Trusting in the opposite sex, to have our best interest. When we are able to do that, shit will get set right again, where we will have healthy relationships with women again. But everybody's on edge and distrusting in each other. And that is the problem. You want to know where all the good men are at? They can't exhale. They cannot be truthful. We cannot have a moment of weakness. We cannot have a moment of sensitivity. Because the moment we do, people misconstrue or take advantage of who is supposed to be the protector, the keepers. Can we let our hair down sometimes? Can we be vulnerable sometimes without being looked at as a punk or other stronger words I could use, but I'm not going to. You see what I'm saying? That is the issue. The issue is all the other stuff is just external symptoms, but the cause is not being addressed. Men are not able to be men, comprehensively. We only, portray the hardened, calloused, tough machismo man side. That's all y'all know about us. Y'all don't know about the softer side of us until we get much older in our 70s and 80s. Then, we get emotional and we're softer and, we need care and all that kind of stuff. But y'all don't know what we're like as, gentle, loving, soft. We can't be that because we're in survival mode all the time. The system preys on men. That's what I'm saying. We're not saying it's all women's fault, the system, okay, is designed to usher all citizens into under the umbrella and protection of the government. The government doesn't want you to be an individual. That runs contrary to the concept of a citizen. Citizenship does not encourage individuality. They want you to be a member of the political community, a member. Follow the rules, follow the statutes, you know, follow through with your duties and obligations as a citizen. Keep the commandments, etc., etc. We'll post the speed limits. We'll tell you exactly how fast to go, how slow to go. We'll tell you to put your seatbelt on. We will protect you because you don't know what's best for you. That's how citizenship operates. Okay? And so with that being said, it's time for men to be allowed to be whole. Their feminine side and their masculine side need to balance. But we must know that if we do that, we will not be swallowed by the system. We need to know that if we show that side of us or that part of us or whatever, or we confide in you, you know, that you are not going to swallow us, take advantage of us. You know the story of Samson, because every time you go for that pretty face, right? You fell asleep in her lap. Samson fell asleep in Delilah's lap, and she had sold him out. You see? You know, you heard Tupac. Who was that? I need a ride or die chick. Something, was that Tupac? I don't know. But you know what I'm saying. Every dude still values a ride or die. Oh, believe me. Believe me. We brag about it in the locker rooms and we talk about it. You know, oh, I got a ride or die. Yeah, we still brag about it. All right? That's the truth. So if you want that side, if you want original man to come back and to have those healthy relationships, y'all gonna have to help us out. And y'all have the nurturer, disposition and what have you. I'm not saying that you need to baby a man, but we've been off for so long. We have been off for quite a long time. So, in closing, this is from MANDEMIC. All right. Here's the appeal. There's several appeals that we're making. Okay. From MANDEMIC or on behalf of MANDEMIC. Here's the appeal to men. Okay. Men to be strong, to be courageous, and to be noble. I want you to look up that word. I don't have time to go break it down or whatever. Noble. Okay. It's going to be important. Look that up if you don't know what it means. Okay. That's the appeal to men. Also, for men, we put together the acronym MAN for man, right? Master Architects of Nations. Because every nation was built by a man. It is what it is. If you're threatened by that, ladies, you need to check what's wrong inside. And we know that y'all have suffered a lot. We know that y'all have been abused sexually and all kinds of things, right? We men have been, but remember where we come from. Remember colonization. Remember wars and things like that. There was no love in that. There was no fairness in that. Okay. And men had to, under the king and other presidents or whatever, we had to do some things that we would have never done. And it broke our spirits and caused us to be something else. You know about all this PTSD that these military men are suffering with. They thought they were fighting for a great cause, and they went all in, willing to risk their lives, and it changed them. They came back changed. See, that's the dirty of government. That's the dirty of being a GI or government issue, right? You know, you're just a pawn. And sometimes you have to just, they didn't teach you to think about it. An order has gone out. You go carry that order out, or else. Do you see what I'm saying? All right. So please keep that in mind. We know that you ladies have suffered a lot. We're going to get all that together. All right. We're going to get all that together. But if you, okay, let me just keep going. So this is the acronym, Master Architect of Nations. I'm appealing to the men to remember and recall that you are the master architect of nations. That's MAN. All right. Also, and lastly, for men, you are the gods over government. Men, you are gods, lords, gods, whichever you choose, over government. And by gods, I mean you are the creators of the government. The government does not exist independently of you. It didn't create itself. We need to get back on top. I'm not saying do away with government or all government. Have chaos. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when government is not functioning in accordance with the way it was intended to function, then men need to set it right. So therefore, you have to remember and recall that you are the God of the government. You created it. It came from you. You are the source from which all government came, the idea and everything, the functionality, the offices. That was created by men. So you are God of government. This is the appeal to the men, to the ladies, to the women. Listen, don't enable men. Okay? Don't enable, meaning if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, don't strengthen their hand. Don't give them a cushy bed to lay in while they're doing something that they should not be doing, something that is not productive, something that is not conducive to being a master architect of the nation or of nations. So if they're doing something that betrays the fact that they are the gods over the government, do not coddle them. So you are the nurturers, women. So here's what you do. You nurture in accordance with the aforementioned. Nurture them in accordance with the MAN, the fact that they are master architects of nations. That's the only way you nurture them. And that they are gods over the government. You mold and shape your man, your boys, your sons, your nephews, shape them in accordance with their calling for what they are chosen to do, which is, again, MAN, to be master architects of nations. Men are nation builders. And they are gods over the governments. Number 2, ladies, acknowledge, confront, and lastly, respect the systematic failure of society to culture competent men. I think that goes without needing to be explained. The whole system, the commercials, the movies, the news, all of it is painting men as horrible creatures. It is not painting men in the best light. You see Homer Simpson and all these cartoons are painting the father as an idiot. This is systematic. They are not teaching men to be men or how to even be men. Did you think we got a manual when we came of age? We don't even do rite of passage anymore, where a man turns 18. All right, I got to fast forward. Number three, I think I'm on, or 4 or 3. If you cannot, ladies, women, if you cannot forgive, lastly, listen, then please don't get in the way. Meaning, if you have been hurt so badly by men that there is absolutely no way you're going to function with Mandemic or work with us or encourage us or in any way assist or help, then I'm going to kindly ask you, just move out of the way then. Just move out of the way. Because we're going to get men on a better footing, a more stable footing. And this is going to, in turn, provide those men that you say the world lacks, we don't have anymore. There are no more good men. We're going to present them. We're going to reinvent and reculture them. And we need your help. But if you cannot help because you've been too abused or too hurt by men and you're distrusting and you won't give it a chance, then we're asking you just to step out of the way so you don't taint what we are doing. I see the messages on Facebook. Some of y'all are just scorched the earth, like F men, I will never, I hate them. I get it. Lastly, the appeal to the government officials. Number 1, acknowledge that the system has failed men everywhere. Number 2, acknowledge that the laws fail to even consider a man's story and or background when imposing a conviction. They don't even ask questions per se. I might, as a young man, I might have seen my dad kill my mama. What might that have done in my psyche? What if I was molested by a bunch of women, my babysitters and whatever? How might that have skewed the way I think about women? So now how do I treat women as I come into manhood? All right, 31 minutes, 32 minutes. All right, I apologize for making this a half hour long, but this is important. These will never be short because these are the topics that nobody wants to talk about, but they need to be talked about. Mandemic is making it happen. Please, if you appreciate this and you are behind it 100%, please like, subscribe, and share this message. And look in the description of this and other videos for information on how to join us over at the Mandemic Facebook group. All right. Love you all. Thank you very much. Please give a thumbs up.